So where are you at now? You've been doing it for like 3 months or so.
Yeah,
Where are you at now with your business, and where do you see it going in like the next 6 months?
good question, man. I was just thinking about this last night.
Awesome.
Um, so now where I'm at is 22K a month in revenue.
Wow.
Um, After about like 3 or so months, and like, honestly, man, like from what you told me, I'm like, that's kind of slow. I'm like, because you're like, dude, you could probably get to like 30, 40K within like 3, 4 months, and I'm like, all right, it's on. Like, let's do it.
All right,
All right.
Max, what is going on, dude?
What's up, Michael Hummel? What's going on, man?
Dude, glad you're here. Glad you're here. For anyone that's watching today, what we're going to be talking about is Mr. Max and his experience working with me and actually growing his digital marketing agency. I don't want to talk too much for him. I want to just ask him some questions about where he was, and then basically talk about how he started his agency, scaled it, and where he's at now, and even where he thinks he's going to go. And really the purpose of this is just to give you an idea of what it looks like to start and scale a digital marketing agency without a background in the marketing space. That way you can see realistically what it looks like when you start a new company. So Max, do you want to just give like a little bit of a background on yourself, but like how we know each other, whatever it is, just kind of kick it
Yeah,
off? Yeah.
let's do it, man. Yeah, well, Michael and I, we met each other back in, man, what do you think it was? Probably like 2016,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we met each other through a mutual friend, back in 2016. And at the time, I was in another business, building a network marketing business, actually. And so I was really, really heavy into that, going hard at it, and started that when I was probably 20, 21. I think I was 21, and just was like, man, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I'm going to build this until I die. And like, that's the only foreseeable future I saw, to be honest. And like, I basically, started going to college right after high school, and I was like, okay, cool. So I'll do college, and then, you know, found this business, the network marketing business. And then, like I said, that was my only foreseeable future once I found that, or once, it kind of found me. And, you know, I got probably like 3 years into it, and I'd grown it to a pretty, I mean, it wasn't big, but I mean, I'd like gone to a kind of a small percentage of like what people actually create within the industry. But still, I'm like, all right, man, I'm making like, maybe a couple $1,000s, if even that, a month. And even like when I get to like the really like top tier of this, like, I'm gonna have to do even more work, and I'll only make maybe like 60, 70 grand a year, right? And I got in it because I wanted to make this passive income, right? And obviously that can be possible within that industry, but it's never passive. And basically, long story short, man, is like I kind of saw you just crushing it. I saw your like 17K a day post on Instagram, and I was like, whatever, that's cool. Like I'm just gonna stay focused on what I'm doing. I'm not gonna get double minded. And then like I saw a couple more posts like that, and I was like maybe I should think about this a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I was like on the phone with Riley. I was like, Riley's my wife, and I was like, should I reach out to Michael about what he's doing? Like, would that be wrong of me to do morally? Like, would I be cheating on my business partners? And she's like, go for it. Right. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And then I just messaged you kind of out of fun, and just to see what you were doing. And you're like, yeah, man, I'll show you like whatever you want to know. And this is back in, October or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And yeah, from that point, man, I mean,
Also, this was like pre any course. Like this was like where I had my own agency.
yeah,
Only. I didn't have like any structure or any course at all. And it was just like Max is awesome, as you guys can already tell. Like he's a super hard worker just from the way he described his background. So like it was kind of a funny
that's super
scenario
funny.
to kick everything off.
We
So
developed the course together in some kind of way, right?
exactly, yeah. It's trial and error through that.
Yeah.
So tell everyone then, I guess, like when we started working together, what was it like the first 30 days? how was it not having a background in marketing, a background in really like just like a different style of business? Like how was that transition, the learning curve like for you when you were starting out?
Yeah. Well, I would say that having some kind of background in business, like in general, was helpful because I mean, before I had obviously like the network marketing business and then like a small clothing company before. So I kind of like understood that if you want to build something, you have to be you have to be open-minded, first of all, and you have to just like basically shut up and listen. That's like the biggest thing I've learned over the last couple of years is like, you just have to be willing to learn. And so, um, like although I didn't have any kind of background in it, I knew that you did, and I knew that obviously you created results. And so I'm like, all right, Max, I'm a noob. Basically, I don't know anything, right? And Michael does. So let's just like put away any kind of knowledge I think I have, and I just basically was like, I'm just gonna listen to you, right?
Yeah.
And so that was like the first thing. And then I just had like I saw what you created, and I was like, dude, Michael's not that much different from me. Like I can build what he's built. And I think there's like that excitement that has really gotten me through, especially the first couple months of all the trial and error, because I mean, it's difficult to start. Like you have to do some research on it as far as like what niche you want to get into. And then there's like, how do I put together a pitch? Like, how do I, put this perfect offer together, right? And there's like so many different pieces, like building. Like I remember for me, the hardest thing was all the like technical stuff, just figuring out like domain names and then getting it connected to all these different emails. And like I remember that was like a big hurdle. But that's honestly the hardest part, I think, when getting an agency started, is just like the stuff up front, as far as like all the technical things, like all the legalistic, like administrative stuff, like all the tedious work. But like for me, I love the sales part of it. I love helping business owners out, like, and I realized that it's all actually very simple and honestly pretty easy. It's like you just have to develop systems. And like what I really admire about what you've built is you have like, okay, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. And like I literally was like, okay, I'm just going to do everything week by week. Like I did week 1 all within week 1, and then I did week 2. I waited till the next week to do week 2, and then like so on. And I kind of took like a slower approach, but you laid it out so simply. Even though it was your first time doing it, it was like perfect. I was like, cool. Like it just worked out really, really nicely. And like the things I had issues with, you spent a lot of time with me going through that. So learning curve wasn't too bad. I mean, of course there's some stuff you deal with, but that's, why this course has been cool, because everybody's willing to help you out. And there's people that have done it, who've built an agency in the past, and there's people that, haven't. And that's why you can kind of combine the brains and, move forward together.
So right now, like talk a little bit about results. So like, what did it feel like for you to get your first client? Like when someone sent you money and like you hadn't really had that ever, right?
Yeah.
How did that feel when like you received your first like payment?
Oh, dude, it was awesome. I mean, you remember like how many calls I'd taken, and like how I was like, okay, man, like this is the one, this is the one, this is the one. Like I think I had like probably 10 to 15 people that I was like, for sure, this is going to be a sale. And then I didn't know how to close it, so it would fall through. Yeah. And then I remember I was, so this is probably, there's like this one guy who came in through like one of like your organic strategies. And we'd probably talked like 4 or 5 times. And then like finally I got on the phone with them. Like I was out Ubering because, that's what I've been doing the last like couple of years, is Ubering. And I was out Ubering and I was like, Franco, call me. Right. And so I get on the phone with this guy. I'm driving in like South Seattle, and I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Like, let's get your card info. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, shoot, like I can't type. I'm driving. And so I literally pull off into this gas station in Renton, and I'm like on my phone, like I got Stripe open, and I'm like, all right, go for it. What's your number? And then first time I try, it declines because I think he had like the wrong card. So I'm like, okay. Let's try something else. And then I try that, and then it goes through, and I'm like, dude, we just got our first sale. And it was like literally like 2 weeks into building this business. And then I remember you're the first person I called.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, like I just got like $1,500
Yeah.
on the phone for like one, like I made $1,500 today. And it's an amazing feeling. It just shows you like even if you have no experience, you can do it. It's just a matter of like, are you willing to be persistent? Like you have to follow up with each person like 5, 6, 7 times sometimes to get a sale and just to build that relationship with them. Like you can't, if someone doesn't have time for you after one call, like you can't let yourself just be defeated by that. You have to keep trying until they're like, dude, stop. We're not doing this right now.
Yeah.
You know,
Dude, that's
hope that helps.
no, it was great. So where are you at now? You've been doing it for like 3 months or so.
Yeah.
Where are you at now with your business, and where do you see it going in like the next 6 months?
Good question, man. I was just thinking about this last night.
Awesome.
Yeah, so right now, so basically like most of my sales I got within the last like second half of January and in February. And so
before you get into that, do you think that's because you had momentum? Like, why do you think it's happening so much now? Like, do you think that?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's just like every day I'm like consistently working like so hard and trying to reach out to people, following up with people. And, you know, I just had like a lot of days where nothing was happening. And then it just seemed like second week of January, like, you know, people started getting back to me, people started answering the phone, and like that, the effort just started compounding.
Yeah.
And then it was like, boom, like 1 or 2 sales a week, like ever since January, like 15th or something like that,
Wow.
you know? And I think it's just, like I said, it's just that constant effort, like every day, like not, like just not settling until you've done everything that you can in your power to do it, to get a sale. Even if you don't get a sale, you did whatever you can, you know? So, yeah, anyway, so now where I'm at is 22K a month in revenue.
Wow.
After about like 3 or so months. And like, honestly, man, like from what you told me, I'm like, that's kind of slow. I'm like, cause you're like, dude, you could probably get to like 30, 40K within like 3, 4 months. And I'm like, all right, it's on, like, let's do it. And
Yeah.
so, I've always kind of had like that vision of like what you told me from the very beginning. I'm like, okay, I need to like at least hit like what he's saying I could do.
Yeah.
So now like hitting 20K, I'm like, cool, like that's a great milestone. And like, I'm excited about it, but now I'm just looking at, okay, like I did 20 in 3 months. Like, why, let's get to 50 in the next 3 months.
Yeah.
Like,
Why
then let's double that again. Yeah. Just can't stop. And so I'm just thinking about like, how can I like retain what I have now to the best of my ability, and then like better my systems, and then just keep getting more sales. And so, yeah, man, I mean, I want to get to like 100, 200, 300K a month. And then like you've talked about, I want to see how I want to figure out how I can sell it, and then either build another agency or who knows,
Yeah.
like just never stop growing.
It just opens up so many doors too, right? Like
Yeah.
that's one of the big models we're releasing here in the next program that I'm launching. It's going to be how to build an agency to sell. So that's
I'm excited about that.
insane. That's insane that you did that though. Like, but like, quick disclaimer: this isn't like a get rich quick thing. Like Max, obviously, you worked insanely hard.
Oh yeah, man. It's
Like, yeah, like you're a stud. Like you're doing work every day, following a system. But I mean, if you're not talking to people, if you're not following up, and if you're not reaching out to more people, obviously you're not going to have a business, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely not get rich quick. And I think like a lot of people, they're skeptical to courses because there are a lot of people out there who are like, yeah, man, you're going to make like XYZ amount of money within like this short period of time. And like so many people have been burnt by like, you know, whether it's multi-level marketing, whether it's like e-commerce stuff, whether it's other courses, and they just pay a bunch of money and like you just don't see the results happen. And like what I've learned about you, I mean, obviously you're a friend as well. So I'm like, okay, I trust him from that end of things, but I know you're not like some kind of success guru. You know, you're not going to like you're not trying to just build a course and, you know, get the money for the course. Like you actually genuinely want to help people. That's why you've done so much. You've done what you've done, like even when you don't have to, you know. And so, yeah, I kind of forgot what my train of thought was with that. But yeah, man. I mean, dude, it's you have to put the work in. Like nothing's gonna happen. Like just because you get started in say this course, for example, like it's not gonna happen on its own. You have to just take the information, and you have to go out there and build your freaking business. If you don't actually put effort in, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, And dude, like I think too many people just get so discouraged after like they set it up, or like they start setting it up and like, oh, this is so annoying, or like this is so tedious, or they go through like a couple weeks of making sales calls and they have no traction, and they're like, okay, obviously this is the wrong niche. I'm not doing this right. Like I need to switch niches. I need to do something different. I'm gonna quit. Like all these different thoughts come to your head, and like of course I had those thoughts too, man. But like you just said, you're like, dude, you have to give it time. You just got to keep going. You just got to keep going, and like that's really it. You just have to keep going, and eventually you'll get results. But you just can't quit so soon, man. Like business is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's gonna take time.
Dude, that was huge. Yeah. What would you recommend to someone who wants to start a business? Like, maybe they don't have like a background, maybe they're at like a 9-to-5 job, or like they've always like kind of looked into it. Like, what would you recommend they do? Do you think that this business model is viable? Do you think that there's like a future for it? Like, what do you think, just from your experience so far?
You mean just as far as like
what would you
building it?
Like, what would you recommend to someone who's like not necessarily like my course or someone else's course, but like really just like who wants to start in business and they're not sure what the right first step would be?
Oh, gotcha. I think it's like you really have to identify what kind of life you want to live. Like if you're to look at, okay, like what would be like my best year ever? How much money would I be making? What would my relationships be like? What would my health be like? Like what's my spiritual walk like? Like look at all these different aspects of your life and be like, this is where I'm at right now. Maybe you're totally bummed with where you're at right now. And then this is like where you want to be. Like, what is that, first of all? And then you have to evaluate, okay, here I am now. That's where I want to be. Like, do I have some tangible steps to get me there? And then if you don't, it's like, you have to ask yourself, okay, like, what are my options? And then if you don't have any options, like, I think it's all about getting around the right people. If you get around people that are like I always try to get around people that are stronger than me in the gym, or have, I like to hang out around you because, you've achieved more in business than me and like, you're just awesome. Right. So you just got to get around people that are like a couple levels higher than you. And like, especially if you're wanting to get into business, find someone that, makes a lot of money even at their job, or makes a lot of money in a business and they're successful, and like, just kind of start like a friendship with them. Right. And eventually like you'll start getting some ideas, you'll get around the right people. I mean, you could always Google search something, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's the best way to go about it. I think it's all going to happen through who you know. Like, but like if you're really trying to grow yourself and like you're listening to podcasts and you're reading and like all these different like personal development, all this different content, like you're gonna start thinking, then you're gonna start just like attracting those people into your life,
For sure.
So, and then somehow just like the internet starts like bringing up stuff like they will probably bring up your course and be like, oh, here's Michael's course. Cause like, algorithms, right? And then you'll be like, here we go.
Yeah. He's like, why not?
Why not?
And I'm not paying you to do this, not paying you to say this, obviously. You actually are successful. You actually have your own company.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, if I was bummed and like I was making no money and like, I thought your course sucked, like I would tell you.
Well, that's good to know. You'd be like, yeah, Michael, you suck. So
yeah. You shouldn't do this anymore.
Yeah. It's like, this might not be my thing. Okay. Man, I'm trying to think what else would be good for like people to know. Like,
yeah, man. I mean,
of course, yes. Like you say, like, would you say it's worth investing in? If someone obviously is going to follow it and work hard, like, do you think it's the right next step?
I think so. Yeah. If you're actually ready to like build it and put some work in and take action. Yeah, 100%. Like because what's really cool about this is like, there's like, yes, it's specifically, targeting someone who wants to build a digital marketing agency, but there's also, it's like an entrepreneurial school as well. It's like you have content as far as like, this is the mindset you need to have to succeed. This is like the thinking that you need to get out of your head, if you want to succeed. Like you just have so much in there as far as just like mindset, sales, how to build an agency, right? Like if you can take that and just like I said, like kind of like leave your biases on the side of the road for a little bit, then dude, yeah, it's no question, it's no brainer, you'll do it. but you just have to, I think the biggest thing is people are like afraid of, just putting any kind of money into something. And it's like, I mean, we literally are so programmed to go to like school forever, right? Like, 4 or 5 years, we go to university, and like, think about how much money, like, kids our age spend on school. Like just,
Yeah.
I mean, you went to WSU, right? And like, that's an expensive school. So, but people spend all this money on school and the books and everything. And like, what kind of result are they expecting? I mean, they want to get a piece of paper so they can go get like a $60,000 job, maybe. Most of the time that doesn't even end up happening. And so then people are like skeptical of looking at a business that could literally make them, well, in my case, like, 20, 30K a month within like 4, 5, 6 months, whatever it is. And they're like, no, man, like, there's no way I want to do that. But it's like, you still have to look at it in perspective. Like maybe the way that everyone's taught you to think isn't right. Like look at the masses, man. Like 95% of people aren't even happy. They drive cars they don't like. They're not healthy. Like what makes you think you should go pursue that path versus like, looking at a different path? Like obviously it's the 2% of people that are really happy. So you should look at what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that means you got to be open-minded. So I don't know. I just think it's funny.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah. Cause I mean, it's not even about like the money too. It's all about just being fulfilled and not having to go to like a job every single day. And then if you already have an agency, like we do all organic in the course. So we show you how to like basically get, well, how many conversations would you say you have a day? Like if you look at like a monthly average, what would you say? How many conversations a day with business owners?
I would say like average, probably like 2 to 3, like average. Like a solid day, like a really like a busy day for me is probably going to be somewhere like 6 to 7. Then like a slow day where maybe it's just, I don't know, it's just a slow day. Like I'm at least going to get one. But the thing is, like, you're always searching, how can I find another opportunity? Like whether that's digging through your old numbers or whatever. Sometimes I'll even like, I don't know, I've cold called people in the past just to get a conversation too, but
okay.
So, but yeah, but dude, from what you've shown me, yeah, I mean, you're at least going to get like 2 to 4.
Yeah.
So
that's the goal. 2 to 4 conversations a day. So,
yeah, for sure.
How's Riley like the change in life? Like, is she pretty excited about the business? So this helps in other aspects of life, right? So
yeah,
his wife, is she pleased with the increase in income, the increase of your, I don't know, happiness, I guess?
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, I'm really busy right now as far as just like building this, but like, yeah, we're super happy because I mean, like what's coming here in the future and like what this is going to be able to provide for us is just as far as like more freedom, going to be able to travel more and like just focus more on our health and focus more on our relationship.
Yeah.
Like, which like you said, it's not all about money, but I mean, money like just gives you, it's just like a tool to help you achieve more in life. And so we're starting to see like, okay, these things that we really wanted to do and have are not so far out, right? Like they're way closer than we think now. Like honestly, before I, kind of started with you, I was like, yeah, hopefully these things will happen at some point, but I wasn't really sure if they would. And so now after having a tangible way to do it, I'm like, yeah, I mean, she and I are excited. We're like, okay, yeah, within like this amount of months, as long as we keep doing what we're doing, we'll be able to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Right. Like we're going to make a move soon, to be pretty close to you out in Cali. And, I'm excited about that. That was like my first thing when I started this course. I'm like, bro, moving to Cali.
Yeah.
And
like to Cali by, what was it, April?
By April or May. So that's still in the cards. It's still the plan.
I love it.
So yeah. But anyways, man, it's just knowing, like being confident in like the dreams that you have, the vision that you have, like it can happen. It is going to happen.
Dude, that's so freaking cool.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Any last thoughts, any last words of wisdom from Mr. Max? 0 to 23,000 a month in just a matter of months. And now he's going to scale to 50,000 a month here really rapidly. Any last words of wisdom?
Man, I would just really say, like, if you want to be like successful in this course or successful in anything, like there really has to be a hunger. Like I don't know where that's going to come from for you. I mean, maybe it's like you want to retire your parents, or maybe it's like you want to retire your girlfriend, your wife. Maybe you just want to not work a 9 to 5 anymore. Like there just has to be something, like whether it's like a deep rooted like nightmare or negative thing, or like a really positive, like exciting dream that just gets you going. Right. And like, you have to just put that like in front of you every single day. Like you got to review that every single day and be like, all right, this is what we're fighting for, and if you know exactly why you're doing what you're doing, then like you put in the work. And like the bigger that thing is for you, the more work you'll put in, like the harder you'll work. And so I think that's why I've worked really hard. And then whether you feel good or not, you just have to be willing to, like, even if you're sick, you're not feeling motivated, whatever it is, like you have to do those same things every single day, because like, your business isn't going to stop regardless of how you feel. So you just have to be willing to be consistent and really, really persistent. Like persistence is the absolute key, I think. And I don't have a ton of experience in sales or anything, so I'm not an expert at all, but I think like that's an absolute key, is being really persistent with people. And just not trying to like sell people things they don't need. Just build a friendship with them, build trust, like be a real person, and like evaluate and like help them get to the result they want, and like really help them on that end of things. And then, you'll make money. So, I think that's all I got, man.
No, that's awesome, dude. That's huge. So if I were a person watching this, what would you recommend? How could I, as a new viewer, be just like you, Max? How could I get to 20?
Just like me.
Just like you. How could I get to 23,000 a month in just a matter of months? Maybe quit my job. Maybe just start making more money on the side. Like, how would I be able to do that the fastest?
That's a good question. Well, if you're building the course, then just straight up, just follow the course. Like do the content that's in there, like pretty much word for word, make it your own, and just attack it. And then if you're not in the course and you're just learning about this, obviously have a conversation, with yourself or whoever's on your team, and just learn about how to kind of get started.
Yeah.
And then, really from there, man, it's just, like I said, you got to like develop some kind of system where you have like these certain messages going out every single day at this certain time. You have a time set up every day where you're going to reach out to business owners and get these sales calls done. And you're doing this like 5, sometimes 6 days a week. And then like, you have your stuff set up like every night so that you can get stuff set up for the next day, right? You're just always thinking about what's next, but you're also just doing everything that you can in the moment to build your business. Like you just got to give everything you have every single day. I think that's, in a very simple way of putting it, that's what you have to do.
So you
got to make this your you just got to work, man. But this is like, I think what I've realized is like, I've made this like one of my top priorities. Like not that I have like a super official job or anything like that, but like you got to make this you do have to make this more of a priority than your job, like, because this is going to create more long-term results for you than your job will.
Yeah.
You just have to make it more of a priority. I think like what your priorities are, that's what you're going to make the time for. And so you just have to make this a priority, and then you'll make time for it, and you'll get results. So, and things that you have passion towards and things that you feel excited about, you're going to get results for. But if you feel like complacent about this, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Just plain and simple. So
huge, man.
Yeah. Hopefully that helps.
No, that was great. Thanks so much for your time today, Max. Anyone that wants to learn more about the course, just go to www.agencytycoons.com. And there's a little training there for free. You can book a call with either myself or my team. And then maybe you can be on this interview, just like Max, in a couple of months, and hopefully even faster than a couple of months. And we'll be able to talk about your success. So make sure you subscribe to this channel, and follow along. You'll see on my playlists that I'm doing a race to 100,000. That's why I have like all this weird whiteboard stuff around me. Is I am starting a new agency, and basically I'm going to be racing Max, racing my other students, building my own brand new agency from 0 to 100,000 a month, and I'm going to show you for free. So at the very least, make sure you follow along. And with that being said, have a good day.